quiet morning.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Well, at least this time you're probably going to remember that Taiwan is.
No, stop. Can we?
Okay, sorry.
Let's see what we have today.
Let's have a look. Oh, wow. Here we go. He said it, Andy Burnham or Jon Snow, the other king in the north. The north is my home. It's part of me. I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan.
Well, I thought I was, but I totally... Burnham.
I know it sounds like I'm fake. No, that's Jon Snow. That's got to be Jon Snow.
Oh, find out.
I feel like it's definitely... Yes! I am a real fan. This is the books only. Okay. I just feel like that's something his
Off to a great start for me.
We need to carry them with us, not crush their spirit.
That must be Jon Snow.
See, I can imagine
Whose spirit?
Like Andy Burnham saying that about Oasis or something.
He's really ruined that band for me. It's so sad.
I never liked. I prefer Blur.
And the Smiths.
I'm gonna go Burnham. Oh, T for T. T for T.
Surely not.
I knew Joanna would say something so anodyne stupid.
Who was he? Whose spirit?
I bet it was about Oasis.
He was actually talking about COVID victims.
He's talking about Jesus Christ. I nearly said Hillsborough victims, but I was like, okay.
Is this just from his speech on Monday, or is this
No,
taken
this
from...
is probably a lifetime.
Oh, okay. Well, I only started listening to him when he became relevant again.
When enough people make false promises, words stop meaning anything.
Okay, well, that's Burnham.
I think that's Burnham as well.
Okay.
Because that's so, again... Ugh. No, that's John. I wonder what that's... Maybe that's about them sending soldiers to the wall.
I'm actually
just...
I want to go now. I just want to get one right. I need that to be off the really rocky start.
That's the end now.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I was close. I should have gone with John. There. Right, what is he talking about? Did he join the union, or why else is he moving so slow? Did he join the union, or why else is he moving so slow? I want to think that's to do with trade unions.
Well, I don't know any other kind of union.
Does it have something to do with the man who ran the bus into that house in Notting Hill? Because I've been thinking...
This is a headphone jobby.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah, I have seen this one.
He does move slow.
Well, he's operating leisurely. You're not supposed to be home as he's doing this.
Yeah, you've got a whip. You're faster.
This is literally what happens at home when you ask anyone to do anything else. They move at this pace.
It really is slow.
Real time me cleaning out my bedroom.
This is what happens when my nan does the ironing.
Would you buy one?
Look, I was passing the clothes down. I would 100% buy one. I genuinely would need someone like this in my life.
I'd buy him, but I wouldn't make him work. I think
Why?
He's really cute.
What, you just sit down and watch TV with him?
I know, I'd want to make...
A sex slave? I wouldn't make him
A
work.
sex slave? I'm not sure he's built that way. But I don't know. I think the problem with the humanoid robots, when they're made in the West, we make them too cute, which then makes you think, I don't want to make this very cute thing do any work, because it reminds me of a child. The Chinese, for their credit, make the robots look so frightening.
No, but do you know, there were studies with AI about how many... One, people always assume it's a woman. So if AI is speaking to you, they usually have... the number of cases where people are, screaming and explicitly speaking to Siris and saying, really derogatory things.
Yeah.
B-word on the end of that. Do you know what I mean? That's how people speak to them. So probably they made it cute so they would stop being so rude
people
to
wouldn't
the AI.
push it over.
Yeah.
I also saw a video of a delivery robot trying to get past these women, and these horrible women were like, oh, get out of the way, robot. They were kicking it. I was like, this robot's going to be the future.
I've seen the opposite.
You're going to be
crazy
replaced by this robot.
Me?
No. Yeah, you specifically are going to be replaced by Isaac.
What have I done?
You haven't folded up your washing slowly enough and meticulously enough.
You don't want to see how I'm living right now. What is this?
What is this? Adoring circle fan, a wash of fading colours, a succession of colours.
That's how you're supposed to sort your laundry.
it's like some kind of bird home, doesn't it?
Well, it's on a
Is that-
tree.
Yeah,
so-
is that one of these Swift bricks I've been hearing so much about that they're apparently stopping house building? What is it? It's public art paid for by housing developers. Again, that's why houses are so expensive. Cambridge requires 1% of building investment to be spent on art. Oh, I hate Cambridge. For any development of 10 or more properties, including council housing, £40,000 of money that was meant for council homes in Camp in Rome, Cambridge, was spent on this public art. Sorry,
Yeah,
I know
but-
we probably can't swear, so I'm not going to swear, but that is insert swear word. That's really rubbish.
That actually
costs
happens
40
all the
grand.
time. Councils have been doing this for ages. I remember one of the first stories I actually covered in my first job was about like council waste, and they spend like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands on council artwork all the time. They always look awful because you can imagine the kind of artists they're getting in.
Yeah, well, it's always like when you go into the corporate art
Yeah, yeah,
spaces,
yeah.
and it's always like the absolute worst thing you've ever
I remember
seen.
no one should look up this video because it's horrific, but it was like one of the first videos I ever filmed. I also looked really different, and it was in front of this art sculpture called The Weaver. And I was standing there and I was like, this is The Weaver. We've spent X amount of money on it. But councils do spend this money. It's like tens of
If you're a
thousands.
homeowner in Cambridge and you're really annoyed that your home has cost an awful lot of money because Cambridge is almost London prices, if you get a tree with this public art on it, can you tear it down? Can you like take the tree down and throw the stupid box
But-
off of it?
Paid for by housing developers.
Because it's your property.
Oh, yeah, it's tacked
your
onto your
pro-
price
it's
when you buy
It's
it.
my property. Maybe I don't want some inane art like a Swift brick or something reminding me to like just breathe and be human. Maybe I find that really twee and it's my
Can
private
you
property.
name one public art sculpture that you actually like?
No. I can think of a lot I hate. My favourite is the Yoda stop wall. Because it's so ugly. Is there a public art that I like? I guess the Churchill statues are pretty nice. But it's not really the sort of vibe.
St. James has a colourful leopard outside its station. That was
That's quite a
nice.
different vibe from the Churchill statue. Okay, we've got to move on. Is it ever
No. No.
is it ever okay to shoplift?
54%, over half of 18 to 24-year-olds in Britain think shoplifting is not a very serious crime. 36%, almost 4 in 10 of people in Britain, believe it can be acceptable to shoplift food if you cannot afford it.
Oh, come on.
Wrong. I just think I have zero capacity. I'm actually going to lose brain cells. I have zero capacity for people that think it's okay to shoplift. Supermarkets operating at razor thin margins, they take home like, I think the stat I saw was like it was single digit numbers in profit every year. So you're saying, oh, you're stealing from big businesses is fun. It's like hilarious. You know, you're taking back what you're owed. I've heard all the arguments. No, you are just a criminal.
Yeah, there's
And you're
people
pushing
are
up
very
prices for
naive.
everyone else.
People are very naive. So I used to work in a Tesco when I was a teenager, and as part of your training, they tell you how to deal with shoplifters.
Well, you
And the-
can't approach them,
Well,
right?
the way you deal with it is that you don't. So there was this one before when I was a teenager. I did have the very basic view of like, oh, people are stealing baby formula because their babies are going.
Snooze.
Okay, that is not actually what's happening. What would happen is every day there was one guy who I just called him Salmon Man, really leading up to
Stealing the good
what he
stuff
was stealing.
then.
What he would do is he'd bring in his backpack every day, walk into the shop, and he'd go to the smoked salmon section, which is the highest value item in this tiny little Tesco store I worked in, and he would just go like that and put all the salmon in his bag, look at you, kind of smile, and off he went. And he did this literally every day. It got to the point where we had to security tag. I had to security tag every single little packet of smoked salmon.
But that didn't stop him.
Which didn't stop him,
Yeah, there
you
you
know,
go.
it just made the beeping alarm go off. But the reason that people will go for high value items like baby formula, which is why people were very sympathetic,
sell it.
salmon,
Mm.
it's being sold on. So yeah, I agree with you. It is a serious crime. It's certainly serious
Also,
when you're
like,
complaining about the cost of your shopping.
The 18 to 24-year-olds, I think this is just like full entitlement, right?
Oh, you don't really have your money at that point. Your money's paid.
Hold on. I lived with someone like this, and I can tell you, every time we had these conversations, I'd say, why don't you go to Lidl? Why don't you go to Aldi? Do your shop there. She was like, well, why would I do that when I'm stealing every week from M&S and it's completely fine, and I'm getting better things and paying less than I would in Lidl?
She made a good argument.
I was like, no,
I mean,
because
she
that's
did make
not
a good
okay.
argument to you.
Because I'm wearing my items at an M&S. I'm like, I'm
You're paying
actually,
for her.
well, I am, and prices are rising. Do you know, I can't. I don't want to say what the last thing.
I have to say, for a lot of shoplifters, at least your former friend, I assume you're not still friends with her.
No.
She did have the right idea, because the thing I always find interesting, you go to a Lidl or an Aldi, the security is incredibly intense.
Yeah,
So whenever I go
yeah.
shopping in there, you have to get your receipt, you have to scan it, a security guard looks at you like you're scum. Like, it's really uncomfortable experience, particularly in London. You can go to a Waitrose and an M&S,
You're fine,
and they treat you completely
Yeah.
fine. So I'm like, why are people actually doing all their shoplifting in Little Aldi? Is it because they're just stupid criminals and they're not thinking it through?
No, but-
Anyway, don't think of the moral implications of what I just said.
This
there.
is the thing,
It
though,
is
because
wrong.
we had the £200 limit, and obviously, shoplifting was basically decriminalised. We're saying no, it's whatever, not a big issue. Now it's so much of an issue. You're seeing the barriers whenever you go shopping. You're seeing increased security. You're seeing basically this demographic not respecting general kind of low-lying laws in this country. It's lawlessness.
Yeah, one thing I will say to defend young people before we move on, it's always the elderly. The elderly are actually secret shoplifters.
I've seen the only examples I've actually seen with my own eyes have been older people stealing ready meals.
Yeah, seriously,
But
it's an epidemic.
I did live with a
Great
shoplifter,
crime.
yeah.
So there we go. The most livable cities in the world, according to Monocle, guess the top 3. It was definitely not London, so I'm putting that one off the list.
Edinburgh?
Edinburgh?
Yeah, I love Edinburgh, yeah.
That's so random. I've
Love
actually never been,
Edinburgh.
so I can't talk. I don't want to offend anyone who's. I'm sure it's
It's
beautiful.
really lovely. It's an amazing
Okay,
place.
I'm trying to think of the places that I've been to that I think are very livable. I love Tokyo. Very clean, very big.
Oh,
great
is this
public
around the
transport.
world?
Yeah, around the world.
Oh, okay, well, my answer
I see them around the world. So I'm going to put Tokyo. I'm going to put. Where else is really pleasant? Dallas.
You're just naming French.
Just randomly putting an American one in there.
Yeah.
Low taxes, good climate, hot.
What are the metrics that they've used?
Hmm.
Is it like easy tax system? Is it...
I haven't the foggiest. I wouldn't live in any of them.
They've done it more on like cultural basis.
Oh,
It's more
nice.
like
Okay, so
colors
Paris.
and things.
Paris.
So
I
it's
think even high culture people now realise that Paris has gone
I think
downhill.
it gets a bad rap. Okay, maybe. Okay, if I'm answering what I think it actually will be, Tokyo, Paris, New York, because
New York
They're
has
the
like a really
big
awful
3.
housing system. It's unaffordable. I would
certainly
say
can't afford it.
Florida. Okay,
what,
keep
the entire
Edinburgh.
state, the state of Florida.
Yeah, anywhere in Florida.
Just any city of Florida.
Yep. And then, well,
Edinburgh is one of them, and then what's
I
your
thought we
last?
were actually talking about the UK, so that's ridiculous.
I'm just gonna make you say Manchester then, in honour of Andy Burnham.
Yeah, fine, Manchester, put it down.
Right, what is it?
Locked in.
What are our 3?
It's got to be one in France, though, like one of the smaller ones.
We're going to shout them to you. The first one is Tokyo.
Yes, it is great. You know what, I could live.
I
there.
actually refuse to do any more of these guessing games. I never get them correct.
The second one is Copenhagen.
Oh, I
yeah.
should have.
Okay,
I've
that's-
just recently been to Copenhagen. Yeah, that does make so much sense.
Totally makes
yeah.
sense.
Trees though.
But
Yeah, overrated. Plain trees in London
really
are horrible.
lovely.
I keep sneezing.
pollen, yeah.
It's little boys then.
Calm down.
Oh,
Yeah,
that wasn't true. No, that wasn't true. They're not all boy trees.
it's just
And
being
Lisbon.
Lisbon, never been. Actually, that to me doesn't feel controversial. Maybe not livable in terms of work, but in terms of quality of life.
Did you
Can see
hear
that.
about people in Japan are obviously like different rules for
Mm.
like public life, but for the World Cup they were cleaning up the stadiums after, and then I need to fact check this. Someone told me their government basically said, "Why are you cleaning up other people's stadiums? You don't do it at home." So it's a
Japan is the
completely
cleanest
usual
place
thing.
I've ever been to.
Apparently they don't clean up after the games when they're at home, but they're doing it elsewhere.
I imagine
know.
that, like, I would find it very difficult to believe that they don't do that. They probably
Someone there does.
maybe there's like a
Yeah.
well, it's probably the Americans, it's probably the foreigners. It's probably the foreigners in Japan. Like
You can lick a binny, take it.
yeah. What's the percentage chance of it happening? Predictions from Polymarket and Calcium. Will a humanoid robot walk on Mars before a human does? I reckon that's really high.
Yeah, I would say probably 100%.
We already have robots on Mars.
Elon Musk is trying to get civilization to Mars by when? Do you remember? I read that book.
It's like net zero
on-
2030.
Yeah, but he actually
Nearly there.
is. People have like bought tickets, and he's doing
He's
that
bought-
now.
Wait, he's selling tickets to Mars already?
I think so. I think high profile people have. It was like
That's quite a pre-order. I'd
yeah,
like to
yeah.
see some results. I would like to see humanoid robot there first.
I will say
before
humanoid will walk first.
But I'm
though.
also going to say 100%. I know that's not how it works, but
fine.
I'm
90 to
going to
100.
put it.
Oh,
Really? I really think we're undershooting that.
49.3%. Sorry. What?
So this is people using cash
Yeah.
in Poly Market to place bets.
Yeah,
That's where the market is.
interesting.
I would say that has to be. I mean, at what point have we ever did we put robots on the moon first before we landed? Yeah, we must have. We didn't.
Robots, I mean, it depends on how you define a robot. Is like a probe a robot?
Well, in my mind, yes.
I
if that
mean,
makes my point.
I assume we're not going to put that like cute little robot that was slow, like
I don't
folding
think it would
thing.
survive.
It
quite
would just
frankly.
fall over immediately, and it wouldn't have anything to fold or clean. It would get really depressed. Yeah, okay, I can see that. I can see that. Strait of Hormuz traffic returns to normal by July 31st. God, that's a tight deadline.
Well, they've already reached agreement.
I'm going to put that at 20.
I'd go
actually.
high. I'd say 40.
Oh, well, kind of, yeah. 27% chance. Correct as of the 2nd of July. So there we go.
Yeah.
You know what? I think that's probably about right, because if I were Iran, I'd be like, well, why not just close it again?
I've been completely optimistic about this whole thing. I
Yeah.
was when it was all kicking off. I remember I was having to like speak about it quite a bit, and I was like, "Oh, it'll be fine. Trump will sort it." Actually, maybe not. But this can't go on forever. And then it went on for so long that the media stopped reporting on it.
It's one of these
So
things where like,
funny.
oh yeah, that thing that's still happening.
Oh,
God.
is that another war?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Putin out as president of Russia by December 31st, 2026. Come on. I think that's pretty unlikely. Unless a drone, unless we mean by Putin out, Putin dead.
I'm gonna say 5%.
I'm going to put, yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go with you. But then what's the market going to say? I'm going to put it at 15% because I'm
I was gonna say my other one, like market, would be like 20, but
Yeah.
let's go 5. See what happens.
12%. There you go. A lot of people don't know much. I'm going to really regret that, by the way. December 31st, he's like trying to enjoy his New Year's Eve and he gets immediately blown up. And I'm just like, damn it.
Just
Should
invested
have
in
been on Poly
drones.
Market.
There you
Could have made
go.
a fortune. Eileen Gee, Chinese-American freestyle skier and model, on being the best.
I think the notion of if you want to be the very best, and this is not me saying of me specifically, but just generally speaking, if you want to be the very best, if you want to be number one, you have to be willing to do what only one person on earth is willing to do. Like if you want to be the one, you literally have to do what every single other person ever is not willing to do. And so when you just really think about that, what that means in practice, under the like kind of like glamour of the like, wow, you know, I'm working, you know, sacrificing for a purpose. You sacrifice everything. You work all the time. Like every single moment of the day is scheduled. Every moment. Like all of my meals are in the car or in the hair and makeup chair. I'm going over work in like the most random of times. And so the kind of like always on nature on one hand is very mundane, but on the other it's like you really have to work so hard. Like it is so hard.
I think it's very good that she's being honest, because so I follow her on Instagram. She was quite controversial because she decided that she was going to represent China instead of America in the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
And I think she's very successful. So she's like in her skiing category, one of the best in the world. She's a model. I think she's also at Stanford University.
Oh, really?
She's very intelligent. I think she's obviously beautiful. She's got this modeling
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
She's got this massive Instagram following. So she's an influencer as well. This is the most type A person to have ever type A'd. Even if you were just a like Olympic level skier, that in and of itself takes up people's entire lives.
Yeah.
Entire lives. Because she's correct. If you want to be the best at something, you can't have off days. Like you can't. It's a lie to tell people that you can just naturally be the best at something.
I mean, well, then that directly contradicts the idea that you can be successful, but also have a work-life balance, which I think lots of people now focus on a lot. Like people refuse jobs because they would prioritize their work-life balance. Also, I actually do believe that when you're young and in your 20s, like the time to be doing all of that, working 24-hour days all day, all week, is then. Like, if you're going to push yourself, do it now. But that piece of advice, I think, is great for people that can handle that and do it.
Yeah.
But not everyone is financially motivated.
By definition, I mean, she said the one person, the best one person in the world. By definition, most people do not want to be the very best person at what they do.
What you probably have to be is the one person that will be able to do it the cheapest in the world.
The cheapest in the world? Like
As
what?
in, like, if you have a mundane skill,
Yeah.
to then get ahead of whatever the market is, you have to undercut yourself.
So many people doing stuff for free. There's so many people doing stuff
No,
for
but
free.
like, for example,
You're going to have to give them money so they can watch you do your service. You're the one person in the world that gives £1 million away every time you crochet something. You're like, would you like this
welcome.
£1 million?
No, but
I'm the top person in my field.
if you think about it in actual like industries, like how work is paid for. So say an industry like, okay, supermarket waiters, cashiers. If you have M&S workers saying that they're only going to do, what's minimum wage right now? It's ridiculously high is what I know. But if you say, okay, I'm only going to do it for £30 an hour, everyone there is doing it for £30 an hour. The moment Lidl opens up and it can find workers that will do it for minimum wage, then obviously the baseline will be set at minimum wage.
There's like an equilibrium.
That's what I'm
But I think for certain things, like, again, Olympic level sport, like setting up your own company, like being a founder.
She's also
Also
doing
being
like
a model.
amazing things that, by the way, all of those things are like really, really hard and really
in and of themselves would be very
extremely
difficult, I think.
hard. But she's doing things that are so unique to only a few people get to do them. If you're trying to motivate someone who is, I don't know, working on a grad scheme at bank or something, they're not having those. So it's really hard to say you have to work 24 hours on your spreadsheet and deliver that project. Not many people have the just have the choice to
Well, if you're a
actually do
salaried
something
employee,
that
there's
they're-
no point. There's no point giving 100% if you're a salaried employee, but if you're a founder or you're Olympian and you see those gains being translated. But yeah, she's a very impressive woman.
Yeah, I
And
mean, lots of
beautiful.
people could. It reminds me of
Good
the
for
Molly
her.
May. You have 24 hours in a day. Do you remember she got so much hate for saying that?
She was right.
She was actually kind of correct.
And New York private school where students graduate as blank or get their money back. Graduate as blank or get
Ivy
their
League
money.
student, Ivy League placements.
See, there's so many really strange New York private schools that have like these very bizarre niches to them. But yeah, I want to believe it's Ivy League because surely that's what you're paying the money for. But I bet it's going to be something
or
much stranger.
actors, because loads of them go off to do. Loads of them from New York go off to do creative industries. Like,
Graduate as failures or get their money back.
oh,
Graduate as
That doesn't-
millionaires
yeah,
or
fair
get their money back. I've got to assume if you're going to a New York private school, you've got to already be a millionaire. But there we go. Founders School, backed by billionaire Joe Lehman, promises families their $150,000 a year fees back. Their child does not set up a business worth $1 million by the time they graduate from its 4-year high school course. Students will mostly be aged 14 when they begin their studies and 18 upon graduation. Well, it pays for itself. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Millionaire
The
by
venture is
18.
part of Alpha School, a group of AI-powered schools that aim to replace traditional classroom teaching with student-led online learning so they can learn the curriculum faster and do practical projects in the time saved. What a smart idea.
This reminds me of, the last time we did the show, and they were saying we've run out of people making things. Obviously, if you're out of the classroom and you're actually applying skills more than you are just kind of like listening to a teacher read a slide or read a slide to you, then you're actually, if you have to try and fail, like the first thing you make isn't going to be amazing. So I think the practical projects are great.
It's also, you're skipping the kind of status game where it's all about having your institutional credentials. If you actually think about what the New York private school system exists to do, like we suggested it was in the blank, you go to an Ivy League school. Why do you go to an Ivy League school? Because the prestige then means you can get a prestige job, which then means you can make a lot of money from that job and you can be successful. This cuts out the middleman and says, I will make your child successful in and of themselves. They don't need to get these credentials. They don't need to waste, all those years like sitting in Harvard so they can get their top law school jobs. So they can do blah, blah,
Also
blah,
bringing
blah.
it back to what lots of people actually need right now. Before, when we raised the target number of people to have a university degree, we thought it was because it would give them better jobs, so that would be more economic output. But in fact, we've realized it's not. What this does is it's like their own kind of like apprenticeship kind of thing that we're doing here, but that is way more efficient.
Yeah.
We're focusing education on people that actually want to be academics and putting people in practical learning so that they can actually get their jobs. I like that idea.
It's a fantastic idea, although it would suck if you're one of the kids that didn't manage to set up the business. At least your parents get their money back.
Oh, we should ask what the fail rate is for that.
Yeah.
How many people get their money back?
I don't know if they've got that.
They've just
yet.
set it up.
Yeah.
That's all. No, that's a good one to return to.
Is the something birth control?
Is the something birth control? Is the ick birth control?
I wouldn't actually be surprised if that is it. I think it might be.
What is it? What is it? Is the iPhone birth control? So, this is a really big thesis. So, the economist Caitlin Myers argues that the spread of smartphones could explain between a third and half of the decline in birth rates from 2007. When iPhones first came out, they worked only with AT&T, so you could see iPhone adoption in AT&T's broadband coverage. Births start to fall in the places where you can get one, and they're not falling nearly as much in the places where you can't. Same thing in the UK. A 2026 paper by Nathan Hudson and Hernan Mosconto Biedo, sorry mate, at the University of Cincinnati found that the number of births fell first and fastest in the areas that received high-speed mobile connectivity earliest. Wow, that's very
Research by the Financial Times showed the same trend in Australia, France, Poland, Mexico, Morocco, Indonesia, Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Iran and Egypt. Birth rate drops coincided with the mass adoption of smartphones in each market.
That, I like this because I think whenever someone tries to do the birth rate explanation, they always pick on something that works for some countries and not others. Because the interesting trend is, as this list of countries have just shown you, it's not just happening in the developed first world. So when people make an argument like, oh, it's about childcare, or it's about when people are richer, they decide to have less children. Not true, because then how do you explain Iran? How do you explain Nigeria? How do you explain all these other countries that are having a relative drop in birth rates? If this can be proven, and it would be very difficult to do so, I imagine, on that truly mass scale, I think there is an argument for it. And the argument that I've always found most convincing is, what is the relative cost of having children? Like, if you're always being entertained by this little thing in your pocket.
So you think it's because
I
they
think
are
that's
too
legit.
busy on their phones? Because I thought it could either be that, or the fact that having your phones next to you with like radiation pinging from a cell phone tower, whatever it is actually something that people say
It's
don't
a
sleep with your phone
conspiracy,
next to you.
Joanna.
That's why they say
I
for
sleep with
men
it next
don't
to my
put
head, I'm fried.
wow. And then they say
Your
like
ovaries aren't in your head.
Yeah, God.
yeah, but brain cells are. Then
My kids will be stupid, but they'll be there. It's fine.
but that's why they tell men not to put their phones in their pocket. I have heard that argument. I'm just saying, like, obviously it's probably because
That's
they're
going to
busy.
be like the best class action lawsuit of all time, where we were suing like Apple for making every single man in the world
That's a
infertile
fertility
at once.
problem.
I think the interesting thing is it that people are preferencing,
Yeah.
or you consciously or otherwise being on their phones because they are entertained by their phones, or is it just that you spend a lot of time on your phones and you are also having interactions with other people via your phones, but not getting your leg over in real life?
Totally true. Totally true. So, people had loads and loads of sex in medieval times. They actually did, because when you think about it, it makes complete sense. The average person in the UK, they weren't serfs at this period of time, but you would have been like a tenant farmer, and that meant you did a lot of work at certain points of the year. But for most time, you were really bored. There was basically nothing to do, and so people had a lot of sex. Whereas when you have a very busy, complex modern life, people have sex a lot less. And I think there is a trend that shows, even from the early 2000s to now, teenagers have less sex because they have the simulated social sphere versus the real social sphere where you go meet people, which means you end up having sex, which means, oh, you might have a baby at some point.
I think if people wanted to have sex, they would. I think it's more your
Sex isn't always babies, obviously. We've
well,
kind of
yeah, but
deconditioned those things.
also I think it would happen if it was. I think there's loads of different factors. We've had an overarching government basically telling you sex is bad, sex is dangerous.
Who listens to the
Contraception.
government,
I mean, it's
though?
pushed in
don't.
schools. It's peddled in schools. How else?
My school wasn't like that.
We had. Oh, we had
We had a lot of teen pregnancies. It's best not to talk about it.
we had COVID where everyone was made to stay indoors. People got very comfortable in their own space. I also think, we can wave off that childcare is expensive or having a child is expensive and people are thinking about all these things. You can't buy a house. Cars are depreciating values, but it's like more expensive
But
to
that's only
drive
true in the
every year.
Western world.
You're-
That's not true
Yeah,
in like these
sure.
developing countries. Like how can it then explain what's happening in Indonesia? I think the COVID example you just mentioned is interesting, right? Because everyone
Indonesia
predicted,
is like a fully
everyone predicted during COVID that there would be a baby boom because people weren't at work and they were at home, and people assumed that would mean people decide to have kids, and they didn't. Well, could you not explain that by saying everyone has access to the internet now? Like, is that why we didn't have a baby boom?
I'm just worried we're blaming phones for another crisis, which I just don't. I think
hate
we're
when people do
over
that.
exaggerating, and it's an
Even
easy
if
way
this is
out.
happening, I don't think that we should ban phones. I think that's a crazy response to this. But
No,
I do think it's the only theory I've heard that can apply on a global scale, if it can be proven, that doesn't immediately make me think this is someone trying to push some kind of agenda. It doesn't actually have any.
It is
basis
interesting with
behind
the
it.
trend in like all those countries, but also like the adoption of phones or smartphones was pretty like it would have coincided with other things as well, right? I mean,
Yeah, like financial crisis. 2008.
yeah, all of that kind of stuff. Also, I really don't like the idea. As people, we always find new things or civilizations, we always find the newest thing to buy our time with. For it was like video games, like, when for men, the biggest issue is that they're playing too many video games, or, the DS for kids, TV, for example. Like, I don't think the smartphone, I don't think there's a strong enough, obviously I haven't read the research, but
Yeah.
I would be very skeptical.
If they can actually prove this on like a city by city level when the rollout happened, it would be very, very difficult to prove. But
I mean,
either
you have
way,
to interview people and
either
say
way, I
what
don't
stops
want
you.
governments to say I'm taking your phone away so you can have kids, because that is one thing that definitely will not work. Whenever governments have actually tried to compel
About
people
to
to
have a
have
curfew,
kids,
maybe it'll work for adults.
doesn't
as well.
work. Right, Matt Crystal. Everyone's got a difficult name today. Matt Kristiloff. I'm so excited to share this update on conception. We've generated the first early human eggs derived from stem cells. This is a big deal. Potential to redefine fertility is real. Interesting. After a simple blood draw, we converted blood cells into stem cells. From now, we coax these stem cells to become miniature human ovaries containing these early eggs. This tech could create freedom from biological limits and genetic disease. It could allow women to have children at a much older age. It would eliminate injections and surgeries for IVF. And it could be a platform to delay or prevent menopause and better understand aging. Wow, transhumanist future is here.
Yeah, I
What do you
mean,
think about that?
well, not being able to have kids and waiting too late in life and then having fertility issues.
No, but this is great because it's basically saying, what draws you back from engaging in society as a woman is kind of your body's hard limits.
Yeah.
I actually think this is fantastic. I'm very pro fertility tech, although I do understand the arguments that people make about, do you really want to outsource that kind of very transformative power to potentially governments at some point? I completely get it. Doesn't mean you can't have a baby the old-fashioned way. I still think you can do that. But I think this is fantastic because I think actually being able to take control of your body in this way is what science does. I mean, we've eliminated pain, we've eliminated a lot of preventable diseases. Why is fertility being the one that's lagged behind for so long? Well, it's very, very complicated and the money hasn't been there. But now the money is being put into fertility technology, and I think this is fantastic.
I think it's interesting for sure. I mean, the arguments surrounding it already, the only kind of cons that I've come across have been like when really religious kind of traditionalist people say, oh, well, it's more than just, carrying something or creating something, like you actually have a bond with whatever. I mean, whether mothers actually, I can't speak from experience, so I don't really know, but I think it's great. I think more people are waiting till later in life to start having children, and that's part of our problem already. We have a declining birth rate. I mean, to outweigh deaths, I think this is the first time deaths have taken over birth rates in the UK. And if that trend continues, like women are supposed to be having like 3 kids each, or they at least say that they would like to have 3 kids, but they're actually falling between like 1 and 2 instead. So there's obviously want and need for it, and there you go.
I just think it's great rather than having to rely on like the government forcibly regulating something that would like compel you as a woman to like remove from your private life, you don't get to make a decision, to have the technology that means you no longer have to make that choice. I think it's fantastic. That said, it is going to be a very morally complicated issue, but I'm in favour. I can't help but feel optimistic about this kind of stuff. What's this? I know what this is. And it tells you. I love this idea, although I've got a very funny image in my mind of the robot that's folding your clothes bumping into the toilet that's coming to your bed. And I can see how that could very quickly become a problem when you have a robot doing literally everything. I don't know if you've ever been to East Asia and had one of those toilets before. Not the moving toilets, but the futuristic toilets. Have you ever encountered these things? They're quite something. They are quite strange. Like the toilet seat automatically comes up when you walk into a room, which is very frightening the first time it happens. But I think this is genius, right? This is genius.
Yeah,
not for
like,
lazy
obviously
people.
it was like
for the elderly and for the disabled.
It was like really funny until they got onto the point of the video, and they were like, obviously it's for people with mobility issues, and I was like, elderly, obviously a great. It's like,
yeah, not for when you're with your partner. Like, I'm just gonna call the toilet to the bed.
Reminds me where like every time I come home, I'm always like dying to use the bathroom. So this is great. I just have my toilet follow me and no issues.
It's interesting. It's a Chinese company. I think they're focusing a lot on consumer robotics because the competition there is so so intense.
They're miles ahead.
Yeah. I'd love to be the guy who's like, okay, what's my niche?
What else can we make move?
You know, I've got these robots that are doing kung fu moves, but he's really going to buy that. I mean, it's like maybe something for a dinner party. I'm going to be the one that brings the toilet to you.
It's actually really good. I wish the UK had more of this kind of thinking. You know, the only thing I kind of know or I've interacted with is, you know, the like stair lifts for old people.
Standard stair lifts, yes.
Yeah.
Familiar.
But other than that, I don't really see. You have loads of people now that can't actually afford, back to housing, can't actually afford to have their parent with them when their parent is like really old, needs care, all of that kind of stuff. Families just don't have the capacity to actually take in their parents, which is a really sad thing and something that's happened like recently over time. But you never feel good. Like, what age do you feel good leaving your parent who's like kind of fine, kind of not fine? So if you had all these interactive things that you could trust, I would feel immensely better. Like I would find interesting to see like how many of those devices people now wear, where if they fall over or they fall over or something's happened to them, that they just press a button, instantly gets emergency services over.
I guess
it is a market.
It's another question of like, how has East Asia approached the problem of like aging?
Well, they had an
the West.
aging population as well, and that's what we're about to have.
I mean, so they've gone, we're going to invest in robotics technology, which I know Japan is also at the forefront. It's invested a lot in this. Whereas in the UK and other Western countries, they've gone, we'll just make it a labour problem and we'll deal with it like in the old-fashioned way. We'll just get people to be carers. And I think ultimately, if you've got a kind of a Ponzi scheme system for your population pyramid, probably their approach is going to be the one that ends up working a lot better than ours, but time will tell.
We'll see.